going to tell you something shocking. Not-for-profit doesn't mean you shouldn't have profits.
You're blowing my mind right now.
In fact, if you're a nonprofit that's not making a profit, you're one bad month away from closing your doors forever. Forever. I've worked with dozens of nonprofit leaders and mission-driven organizations, and I've seen this same confusion destroy businesses that were built to do good in the world. After analyzing so many nonprofit financial statements, I discovered something shocking. The most impactful nonprofits aren't the ones giving away every dollar. They're the ones who understand this one critical difference.
What? You got to tell me.
I've spent years working with nonprofit leaders who thought doing good meant sacrificing financial health. And what I found changed everything. So in the next 10 minutes, I'm going to show you why profit isn't the enemy of your mission. It's the fuel that makes your mission possible. Welcome to the first episode of From Purpose to Profits. Well, hey there. I'm Kimberly Ferguson, CEO and founder of The Emerald Edge. This series is for nonprofit leaders, social entrepreneurs, and mission-driven founders who are tired of choosing between impact and financial sustainability. Today, we're tackling one of the biggest misconceptions that keep nonprofits stuck, broke, and one emergency away from shutting down.
Bankruptcy. Oh, I'm sorry.
There is one thing that people don't tell you when you start a nonprofit. Not-for-profit is a tax status, not a business strategy. And if you don't understand the difference, you're going to burn out, burn through your resources, and burn down the very mission you're trying to build. So let's break down what profit actually means in a nonprofit, why you need it, and how to build it without compromising your values.
Wow.
Let's start with the biggest myth. Not-for-profit means you don't or can't make money. Not-for-profit is actually just a legal designation. It means your organization doesn't exist to enrich owners or shareholders.
I'm not following that.
Any surplus revenue, that's your profit, gets reinvested back into the mission, not distributed to private individuals.
Well, that makes a little more sense then.
So here's where people get it wrong. They think that means you should operate at break even or even a loss, that you should just scrape by, that struggling financially somehow makes you more noble, more authentic, or more committed to the cause.
Doesn't it?
But operating without profit means you have zero cushion for emergencies, zero ability to invest in growth, and zero sustainability. You're not noble. You're one crisis away from closing. And when you close, your mission dies with you.
I can't let that happen.
So why do nonprofits need profit? Well, 3 reasons.
There's 3 of them, baby. 3.
Reason number 1, cash flow survival. Nonprofits have brutal timing gaps. Grant payments come in quarterly or even annually. Donations spike in December and drive up by the time you get to February. But payroll, well, that's every 2 weeks. Rent, that's monthly. Program expenses don't wait for your funding cycle. If you don't have profit reserves, you're constantly operating in crisis mode, scrambling to cover basic operations.
It's been a daily, ongoing pain.
So number 2, we have investment in growth. Ready to hire a program director who could triple your impact, upgrade your donor management system, launch that new initiative you've been dreaming about? That requires capital. Profit gives you the fuel to expand your reach, serve more people, and actually fulfill your mission at scale.
I want to help as many people as I can.
And reason number 3 is credibility and stability. Funders, major donors, grant makers want to see financial health. A nonprofit with consistent profit margins signals competence, sustainability, trustworthiness. They're not investing in a charity case, pun intended. They're investing in an organization that will still be here in 5 years, 10 years, making a lasting difference. So if profit is so important, why do so many nonprofit leaders resist it?
I wish I knew, Robin. I wish I knew.
Because you got into this to help people, not to make money. Nonprofit leaders often find themselves in this guilt trap. Somewhere along the way, someone told you that caring about profit makes you greedy, that real nonprofits struggle, that if you're not sacrificing everything, are you really committed enough?
Oh my, you're right.
So you work 60 hours a week, you defer your own salary, you pour your personal savings into the organization, you max out your credit cards to make payroll, and you tell yourself, it's temporary. You tell yourself it's worth it.
I love my job. I love my job. I love my job.
But the thing that nobody wants to say out loud is martyrdom isn't a business model. When you burn out, your mission dies with you. When you can't pay your team competitive wages, well, you lose the best people. And when you're constantly stressed out about money, you make desperate decisions instead of strategic ones. So when your board sees red ink year after year, well, they lose confidence, right? Profit isn't selfish. Profit is what keeps you in the game long enough to actually make a difference. Profit is what allows you to say yes to opportunities instead of turning them down because you can't afford them.
Profits remain elusive.
So how do you build profit the right way without compromising your mission? Here's the framework. First things first, we need to set a profit target. Most healthy nonprofits aim for 10 to 20% profit margin. Some call it operating reserve or surplus, but it's profit.
Why don't you explain this to me like I'm 5?
So that means if you bring in $500,000 in revenue, you're keeping 50 to 100 as reserves and reinvestment capital. That isn't greed. That's sustainability. That is what allows you to weather a bad fundraising year, invest in new programs, and honestly sleep at night, knowing that one unexpected expense isn't going to sink your company.
I don't want you stressing out about any of it.
Second, you need to track your numbers like a business, because you are one. You need to know your numbers in real time, revenue by source, expenses by program, profit margins by initiative. If you're waiting until your annual audit to see how you did, you're flying blind.
I'm just hoping for the best at this.
Track program costing. Which programs are financially sustainable? Which are draining your resources? It doesn't necessarily mean you cut the programs that lose money. Sometimes your mission requires it, but you need to know the truth so you can fundraise strategically and make informed decisions.
Working on it. I'm working on it.
And third, we want to communicate your financial health. So be transparent with your stakeholders. Show them that your financial strength means greater impact. Reframe the conversation. Don't apologize for having reserves. Celebrate it. Tell your donors, because of your support, we've built a 6-month operating reserve. That means that when disaster strikes, we can respond immediately instead of launching an emergency fundraising campaign.
Helping you face whatever life throws at you.
That means we can invest in this new program that will serve 500 more families. Donors don't want to fund a sinking ship. They want to invest in a thriving mission that will outlast them.
There is no nobility in poverty.
So let me tell you about a nonprofit we worked with recently, an addiction rehab center. Incredible mission, life-saving work. They've been in business for over 60 years, helping people to rebuild their lives. But when we looked under the hood, we found 2 massive problems. First, they never had a budget. Not once in 60 plus years. And when they were asked why, they said, well, we have money in the bank. Why do we need one?
Oh, no.
But here's the thing. Having money in the bank doesn't tell you if you're sustainable. It doesn't tell you if you're profitable. It just tells you that you haven't run out yet.
Don't count on it.
And number 2, they were bleeding money. So they were over $400,000 in the red every single year for the past 13 years. Think about that.
Thus began the debt.
13 years of losses, over $5 million in cumulative losses. And they were still operating like everything was fine because they had cash in the bank.
That doesn't sound right.
No.
So when we came in and cleaned up their books so that we had accurate accounting, then we set a modest target. So grow revenue by less than 5%. Try to decrease expenses enough to break even. That was the goal. Just stop the bleeding.
I can't let this go on any longer.
Within 4 months, they'd already flipped their profits by over $620,000. They went from almost $400,000 in the red to over $300,000 in the black. And we didn't just hit that 5% revenue target. We increased the revenue by almost 17%.
What? That's insane.
How? We analyzed their processes and found several opportunities to optimize profits. We streamlined their client onboarding and offboarding processes. We increased the efficiency of their billing, which dramatically improved their collections. Money they'd already earned, but weren't collecting.
You make it sound so easy.
It was a few simple shifts that made a huge impact. But here's what matters most. They didn't have to cut programs. They didn't have to reduce services. They didn't have to compromise their mission. They just had to run their nonprofit like a business, because it is one. Now, instead of wondering if they'll survive another year, they are planning expansion. They're talking about serving more people. They're investing in staff training and facility improvements. That's what profit does. It doesn't steal from your mission. It protects it. It scales it. It ensures it survives. Their impact didn't shrink. It grew.
Could have a real impact on society.
So let's bring this home. Not-for-profit is a tax status, not a vow of poverty. Profit isn't the enemy of your mission. It's the fuel. And building financial health doesn't make you greedy. It makes you sustainable. It makes you effective. It makes you a steward of resources people have entrusted to you. You didn't start this nonprofit to struggle. You started it to make a difference. And you can't make a difference if you're broke, burned out, and barely hanging on. The most impactful nonprofits aren't the ones that give away every dollar and pray that they make it to the next month. They're the ones that build strong financial foundations so that they can keep serving for decades. So they can weather economic downturns. So they can be there when their community needs them the most.
Either way, you're helping people. And
So here's what I want you to do with this week. Take a look at your numbers. Calculate your actual profit margin. If it's 0 or negative, it's time to have a different conversation about your financial strategy. And if you're a nonprofit leader who's tired of choosing between impact and financial stability, let's talk. Use the link below and contact us at the Emerald Edge. We help mission-driven organizations build financial systems that fund both your impact and your sustainability.
I gotta call her.
Your mission matters, but so does your organization's survival. And building a profitable nonprofit isn't betraying your values. It's honoring them by ensuring your mission outlives you.
This could be our legacy.
This has been From Purpose to Profits, where we prove that doing good and doing well aren't opposites. They're partners in creating lasting change. And remember, not-for-profit doesn't mean no profit. It means your profit has a purpose. Keep leading with purpose, and I'll see you in the next episode.